centuries ago, mankind discovered a way to transfer consciousness into a new body, making death a mere inconvenience. Since then, we've been providing an unparalleled pedigree of human sleeves to only the most discerning clientele. Psychosec, live forever in the body you deserve.
Is this a joke or April Fool's?
Reality.
There is literally no source info on this clip apart from it was a secret recording that was leaked and uploaded onto the dark web. A million questions arise here. Is this really a cloning facility? Were these real people? Some people seem to think this is where all the reported missing persons end up and have their organs harvested. If you look closely, there seems to be an identical slit on each body on their upper right torso just under the neck, so whatever is going on, the same procedure has been done to each individual. Some people even went as far as to say it's skins or biosuits for the reptilians. Who knows? I think we can all agree though that this does look very genuine and very sinister. If it is a hoax video, then they pulled out all the stops on this one. I will continue to try and track the origin of this video to find out the truth, which is why it ended up here in the Vaults of Horror. I'm just as baffled as you are on this one, so I will leave it in your hands to decide.
Started when I was 5 years old, only I was memory repressed back then. When you're in REM sleep, they can just bring you there. Rapid eye movement, stage of sleep. That's how they do it. They call it a consciousness transfer.
They can transfer your consciousness into a clone at the cloning station if they have a clone of you.
You don't have to be born into it. You have to be semi-attractive or have some kind of a skill that they want to use or steal from you. When you don't know what it is, you think that it's your real
An
body.
event of its kind, CES, or the Consumer Electronics Show, features all aspects of the industry. But one of the exhibits also had to do with and featured a Netflix series that actually comes out today, and that series is entitled Altered Carbon. And rather than my talking and blabbering about it, I'm going to let you see for yourself what it's all about. And to see the truth that's right in front of you.
Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to Psychosec. Can I answer any questions? What is it all about? Well, we're a company that produces 100% organic human sleeves. We're a company that produces 100% organic human sleeves. We're a company that produces 100% organic human sleeves. You're probably wondering what's a human sleeve. Well, if you gather around, I can let you know what we do here in full details. So here at Psychosec, we've been able to achieve true immortality. By taking your human consciousness and storing it on a device called a cortical stack. It's implanted in the base of your neck, and it collects and stores everything that makes you you. Every memory, every emotion, every sensation, everything you've ever experienced gets stored on this little device. You can see it here on the screen that's about to come up. You guys just follow me. All the information is stored on this device and can be digitally transferred from one sleeve that you're currently occupying into the sleeve of your choosing.
Add it right over there for us to
Give you a little bit more information.
Awesome.
So this is our cortical stack device. It's a small device, like as I said before, that's implanted in the base of the neck. It's a small incision, and it records everything that you've ever experienced in your life from when you were a child to now. And we store it in a file called EHF, which is a digital human frame. Everything that makes you you is on this device. Now, all that information can be transferred over from the sleeve that you're currently occupying into the sleeve of your choosing. Now, the sleeve of your choosing can be designed. So if you like blue eyes instead of brown eyes, if you like those rock hard abs but don't want to go to the gym for them, if you want to be taller, if you like to be darker, all these things can be achieved here at Psychosec.
He wants to live forever. He wants to get away from illness. Hurt. Anything that doesn't work the way it's supposed to. We have achieved that here. Everything that makes you you. Mannerisms, emotions you ever felt, people you know, anything. Even your consciousness is stored on this device. We did not create this device, but we do use it to help our sleeves move. We did not create this device, but we do use it to help our sleeves move. We did not create this device, but we do use it to help our sleeves move. Sleeves are basically human bodies we grow in our labs. They're organically real. Bones, tissue, organs, everything. These are the best bodies you'll ever have. Period. Nothing can hurt these bodies, but they are human. So if something were to happen to them, you can always change them out for a new one. That's why it says immortality becomes non-existent. Because you can be 50 in one body and change to the next body. You're as young as you feel. And David's going to show you some 2018 models that you can choose from.
Well, you can choose which sleeve you desire. Now you can either have the sleeve that you have right now, or we have a selection of wonderful sleeves that we have made through Psychosec, fully genuine and organic produced. Now if you'd like to be taller, shorter, skinnier, if you'd like to have better vision, maybe strengthen your body, you have the choice to choose a man or a woman's sleeve. Now if your sleeve becomes damaged or too old for your liking, simply remove from the cortical stack your DHF, your consciousness, to another, newer sleeve.
Your first step in becoming immortal.
First step of becoming immortal.
Yes. Your first step in becoming immortal.
First step of becoming immortal.
Yes. Into. And then we transfer into any sleeve that you like. So you have those examples, and we have an example in the back as well. And we have a whole body sequence that we have different ones. So if you want to be, say you want to be a female, we have different ones you can become, different nationalities. Anything that you want, so like I said, can make. We also have male bodies. You want something stronger, something younger, you want to become fit. We have that technology.
There's two different kinds of cloning. There's replication cloning where it comes up as a baby, put the cells in, make the same person as a baby. There's duplication cloning as well, where they grow you in a big thick tank, fill it full of water. They agitate the tissue sample a certain amount of times, and it grows a fully formed duplicate of you within 5 months.
They said it's mostly maintenance. And it doesn't even cost that much. It's just they set it to growing, and then they have to have someone maintain the tank as it's growing.
They have to get like new bodies like every, I heard it was like every year, but I guess it's like every 2 years, and some people last.
And now what we are going to do together is we're going to go over the 4 types of clones that are used by the Illuminati. We're going to talk about the different types of clones. We're also going to be elaborating more on these underground facilities as well as these cloning labs and cloning centers. We're going to talk about why this is being done as well as the bigger agenda behind all this. Now it says 1 is the actual clones, and this is a person who has been grown from a test tube called in vitro or implanted womb, which has the identical genetic makeup to another person, an identical twin, so to speak, in terms of genetic makeup. The genetic coding has reproduced, and the new person who is an identical twin is now in existence. But there's also what's known as synthetic clones, and these are so-called persons who look every bit as real as a real person, but simulate human beings. Certain tissues extracted from cattle are the starting point. And this was also reported from an actual experiment from the book called The Biological Time Bomb by Gordon Rattray Taylor. And it says this is part of the reason for cattle mutilations. And Taylor describes an experiment done in France. Quote, they had extracted DNA from the cells of the khaki Camphels and had injected it into the white Perkins, thinking that just possibly the offspring of the latter might show some character derived from khaki Campbells. To their astonishment, the actual ducks they injected injected began to change. Their white feathers darkened and their necks began to take on the peculiar curve which is a mark of the khaki Campbell. The scientists working under the auspices of the Rothschilds developed this process by working at secret breakneck speed. They developed an advanced development of the process they discovered with the DNA chicken experiment, and by the late 1970s, synthetic people could be produced by the Illuminati, which is what you see with many of these celebrities. But we also have what's called organic robotoids, and this is an artificial life form that is created through processes that are totally different than cloning or synthetics. Organic robotoid technology is being made to make exact as possible copies of important people such as presidents and some of their staff, not to mention hologram technology. Now, this is also proven from the Kaiser Aluminum News, which was put out by Kaiser Aluminum and Chemical Corporation, and they put out a series of articles to a specialized audience back in the 1960s, and the material was also published under the book title The Dynamics of Change by Prentice Hall, Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, 1967, and under that title heading Genetic Manipulation, it says, the ability to control the formation of new beings may be one of the most basic developments of the future. Recent discoveries about the nucleic acids, the basic building blocks of life, have led to the belief that man may someday be able to treat genes in such a way that desired characteristics can be realized. And under the heading Man-Machine Symbiosis, it also says, quote, computers exist which can learn, remember, see, seek goals, reason, walk, sing on key, talk, be irritable, play games, grasp, adapt to an environment, and even design improvements in themselves. Man-like computers may one day contain plasma circulating through a viscera-like envelope, allowing them to be self-healing. And under the heading Human Robots, we read, an electronic circuit that imitates two neurons, the cells of the human brain, has been built and has enabled a robot to deal with some unexpected situations, but the neuron structure was bulky. The brain has billions of neurons, meaning an incredible miniaturization job will be necessary before truly human robots are developed. And as the reader knows, since the 1960s when this was written, an incredible miniaturization job has been done in computers. But what the public knows of that miniaturization is incredible, and that is only part of what has actually occurred. In fact, scientists are now able to manipulate DNA to create computers. So we see this type of technology that goes on not only in computers, and by the way, this was back in the 1960s, so 50 years ago, so you can only imagine the progress that the Illuminati has made with these types of clones. But it even goes on to say that organic robotoids are amazingly human-like, so human-like that it is hard for the scientists who have created them to get used to the idea that they are not humans. Biological computer brains for the robotoids came as a result of research into holograms, which I just talked about and mentioned even earlier. Why is this so important? Is because when you even see the movies and when you see how all of this is depicted right in front of you, when you even see all this technology that they're putting in the screens right in front of you, you start to see that you're the one living in a fantasy, because they're literally telling you what goes on a daily basis, literally. The article goes on to talk about how the memory of a person and a human is transferred into the organic robotoid, and then it also talks about doubles or lookalikes, and you can just look at Michael Jackson for that, because you'll see that even Michael Jackson had many different doubles and lookalikes, and he's not the only one, of course, but that is another type of cloning that they do, is that they get doubles and lookalikes. Not to mention multiple personalities as well, because as you will see with Nicki Minaj, her clone is Stephanie, and she literally even tells you that that is her clone. And she's not the only one who's talked about and come out about cloning, but we also see that with Donald Marshall, B.O.B., as well as most recently Kevin Hart. Now, I'm here at this document, and the reason that we're here is because it talks more about what mind control. And as you can see, it's from the joint hearing before the Select Committee on Intelligence and the Subcommittee on Health and Scientific Research of the Committee on Human Resources, United States Senate 95th Congress by the first session as of August 3rd, 1977. And this is the CIA's program of research and behavior modification. At least that's what they call it. But what project MK Ultra, which is what? Mind control. Just look up the word government and you'll see that it means mind control. Why is this so important? Is because through this document and throughout this document and throughout the years, your government has been participating and partaking in secret experimentations conducted on people through sex slaves and other means of how they want to effectively control the mind and control the brain and control people and control the sleeping sheep who are sleeping to this information. And they talk about this in Project MK Ultra. But who are also their victims for Project MK Ultra? Celebrities such as Nicki Minaj as well as Beyonce and all the other ones. Because last I checked, Beyonce's new record about formation, what are they forming? The New World Order. That is what that's talking about. Why is this so important and how does this relate to cloning, you may be wondering? And the cloning centers is because they do and conduct all of these experimentations underground, and that is exactly how they, as in the elite, do it. Not to mention all of the torturing that goes on with these different clones, as well as the celebrities as well, and it's done to children and women celebrities, so-called, the most. And I hope you're seeing that with both your eyes open. I'm going to leave the links below so that you can see exactly more about Project MK Ultra and how serious this really is, and so that you can awaken to truth and start to seek Yahuwah and his true son Yahusha, so that you will be deceived no more. But this is Truth Unveiled here, saying as always.
And I think that is what everyone is really concerned about. There's someone in my house with my family, and it's not me.
There's been a 6th-day violation. The human was cloned. That human was you.
Like everyone else, I've been reading a lot about cloning recently. And I thought it was a wonderful premise because it was based on a real sort of human problem that we could see coming up just around the corner.
We won't have to lose our best people. We will finally be able to conquer death.
It's very current. It deals with the moral ramifications of cloning, which I obviously think is a terrible idea.
The idea in the story is that they have not only learned how to clone, but that they've gone one step further. Instead of cloning fetuses, one ought to be able to develop kind of giant fetuses, which would then be infused with the DNA of the person you were cloning. You can then record somebody's memories through the optic nerve. You can actually look into their brains and record all the stored memories there. So you can create a whole person with an entire history.
Gotta pierce my damn ears again.
In the context of a suspense thriller, we do ask some very serious questions. What's the truth of it? Where are we heading?
We will soon be able to clone ourselves and our pets. If we create a human being, is it somehow different? Does it have a soul? I thought these were all very interesting issues and dealt with in an interesting way.
These are the big issues of the next decade that we're going to be dealing with. What is the morality behind cloning, and how do we use it, and how do we control it, and who owns the rights to it?
Anytime anything new is being developed, it creates fear. But at the same time, there's a side always there, an element that where things can get corrupt and that things can turn bad.
Yeah. The Illuminati knows the answers, taking bone samples to clone rappers. But the artists in prison to silence their vision, genetic copies going home after. They look different, eyes shifted, smile missing, skin lifted. It's scientific. If they can't control you, they erase the old you. Get your duplication to enforce their message. They clone Gucci, clone Kodak, cloned Eminem. He ain't rap since Encore, know that. Cloning rappers when they overdose to keep making money from producing more tracks. The game is a sham, turning the artists who challenge to sacrificial lambs. The labels and devils are shaking hands, creating our artists in labs.
The executions have been televised, oh, they're on TMZ like every night. They take our heroes, give us weaponized clones. The revolution won't be televised. I can't be replicated. Copy the attitude and it changed, but no one will ever do me the same. I can't be replicated. Try to control me, then guess again. Rebellion lives in my DNA. I can't be replicated. Duplicated, imitated, fabricated, eliminated. No, I can't be replicated. The system designed me to be a slave. I'm the glitch in the matrix they can't escape. I can't be replicated.
If they killed the rappers who were spitting truth, they wouldn't have a messenger to reach the youth. So they duplicate physically, implant abilities, replicate tattoos and cloning facilities. Indie contracts say worldwide, label contracts say universal. For all of time in all forms, they own all your music, your image, your name, and your person. Weird, right? I know you don't think that it's facts, but for 50,000 and a hair sample, you can clone your dog or your dying cat. It's another way for them to win the war by weaponizing important celebrities. Don't kill your foes, just clone their gods. Then you'll control all your enemies.
The executions have been televised, oh, they're on TMZ like every night. They take our heroes, give us weaponized clones. The revolution won't be televised. I can't be replicated. Copy the attitude and the chains, but no one will ever do me the same. I can't be replicated. Try to control me, then guess again. Rebellion lives in my DNA. I can't be replicated, duplicated, imitated, fabricated, eliminated. No, I can't be replicated. The system designed me to be a slave. I'm the glitch in the matrix they can't escape. I can't be replicated. You can see the difference in their face now. Casualties of money and the fame, posing for the cameras with that fake smile. A clone of someone who they used to be. I can't be replicated. Copy the attitude and the chains, but no one will ever do me the same. I can't be replicated. Try to control me, then guess again. Rebellion lives in my DNA. I can't be replicated, duplicated, imitated, fabricated, eliminated. No, I can't be replicated. The system designed me to be a slave. I'm the glitch in the matrix they can't escape. I can't be replicated.
I also get asked a lot, am I a clone? From my understanding, Donald has seen a clone of me in the cloning center. I am memory suppressed, however, I do have memories of what fit the description of the cloning center and the arena.
And they put a chip in his body so they could monitor every move he made. And he knew it. They chipped him.
I'm the ODB, as you can see. FBI, don't you be watching me.
The most unconscious shit get the most airplay. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
The government.
Yo, and then run up on me talking about keep it real. Don't run up on me saying keep it real if you ain't supporting the real. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line.
The government brainwash our people with the mind control theory. That's what they do. So it makes our people like it. They keep playing that same song. The same song keep playing, you start to like it. You start to get cloned with it. You start to get cloned with it. So then for the clone exists, then it just takes over. It takes over the human body. It takes over the spirit. It takes over the soul.
A woman claims a man who looks like Mike Tyson lured her into a sexual assault. Police say the man, claiming to be the former boxer's manager, invited a woman to an after-hours club in Houston over the weekend, and that is where the victim says the look-alike sexually assaulted her. Now, the look-alike even has a tattoo similar to the one Tyson has on his own face. The real Mike Tyson heard about the investigation and shared a photo taken with fellow celebrity Jenny McCarthy. It places him in Florida when the incident in Houston took place.
Some things need to be addressed, and this is one of them. We need to really talk about this, the cloning issue. Some of you all have no idea of what cloning is about. You can't comprehend or muster what I'm getting ready to tell you, okay? So enjoy the ride. But before I started, I just want to say this, and I hope that some of you guys with broad minds can gravitate to it, and those who can't, you're going to do what you do anyway. Become a keyboard warrior. I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you feel. This particular show, it's going to be like no other, because I'm going to get right down. I'm going to tell you some things that you probably going to not believe, because most of y'all don't believe no way. It's going to be a small percentage that grab it, and y'all going to take it to the next level, which you should. Now see, this is why I need to talk about cloning, because some of y'all think cloning only exists in the entertainment world. That's not true. It has nothing to do with the industry. Why is cloning is needed? They started the cloning process in 1945. So if you thinking cloning only exists in the industry, they want anybody that can lead a people. Anytime somebody tell you they'll pay for your airfare because they want to battle you and they want you to be a part of this battling, don't you take that plane ticket, man. Because 9 times out of 10, when you get there, they're going to put something in your drink. You ain't going to remember shit, because when you wake up, you're going to be under hypnosis. You don't think the reptile is real? The reptile is very real. You don't think lizards are from the demigods exist? The only way that these demigods can live, they have to get into a human format, because their life as reptiles is only so long. They have to be able to be in a human format to live for a long time. And once they get in a human format, they clone that human over and over again. Did y'all know that Gaddafi is not dead? He was cloned? I told you. I got something for you tonight. I'm going to lay it on you, because a lot of y'all think you want to hear some good stuff, but sometimes y'all just want entertainment. I'm not entertainment. I'm going to give it to you from the hip. Yes, I'm humorous, because that's the way the Lord made us. We want to be able to give you some truth, but at the same time, you know, have you have a little laughter behind it. But the truth stands alone. Behind all the BS and after the laughter, the truth still stands on its own. Their dialects in their eyes, their body movement. Sometimes they get sluggish. They forget what they say. They contradict a lot of things they say. And you probably say, well, Yash, I don't get it. But if they think you another Malcolm X, they're going to clone you first before they kill the first you. But if they think you another Malcolm X, they're going to clone you first before they kill the first you. If you're a person that can move people and get shit started, and like I said, shit, they have an interest in you. When they tell you we'll fly you out, we want to have a sit down with you, they're going to put something in your drink, your food, some type way. Even when they accidentally bump up against you, they have a needle to hit you. You don't even know what it was. It feel like a mosquito bite, but they just hit you with a needle, and then 5 minutes later you fall asleep. You don't even remember nothing. They just put a chip in your neck, man. Farrakhan is chipped. He got the same chipping process as Gaddafi. And I wouldn't be surprised if they clone Farrakhan and kill the real Farrakhan. And y'all probably saying, well, y'all, that don't make sense. Why would they want to kill Farrakhan and keep, because they want to work his mind? The man is very intelligent. See, a lot of times they want to keep you alive just to pimp your brain. And when they put you under hypnosis and MLK and they can chip you, you totally submissive to them. Do you know when they put a chip in your body that they can go all the way back 30, 40 years and you can tell them things that you didn't want to tell them? This is how powerful their technology is.
Dirty here just to keep it dirty. Dirty, 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 where we all come from.
I wanted to document them, actually. Like, you know, I came down, I had my camera, I said, "Should let me document you, man, and just let it all out." And he says, "They're not ready for me to speak right now. They don't want to hear me, because when I speak, it's over."
Let me ask you a question. Y'all, everything that we saying, y'all gonna film, y'all gonna put out, right?
No, we edit.
Oh, y'all gonna edit. So the good shit y'all gonna edit, the bad shit y'all gonna give to the government, right?
No, come on.
Huh?
Why should we?
So what y'all gonna do with all this shit?
Why should we give it to the government?
So who y'all gonna give it to? What y'all gonna do with it?
I'm gonna send it in the show, on the TV channel where I work.
So what's the sense of us talking this long?
It's no problem. It's no problem. I want it this way. I like it. I like it that way.
No, see, because I wanna make sure that everything I say is gonna happen.
In May 2003, ODB was finally released on parole.
And they put a chip in his body so they could monitor every move he made. And he knew it. They chipped him.
You know, it's certain things I don't really want to go into that far, but where it causes me to lead to think that somebody had put it on. You know what I mean? And he knows because we talked about this. You know what I mean? And then I remember days later, he just was never really acting the same no more.
You know, he did a lot of things in this world that was rare. And I wouldn't be surprised if his name wasn't on the list. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if my name ain't on the list. You know what I mean? With the whole Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? You know, we different. And sometimes in this country, when you're different and you speak different, and you stand out for something different, and you stand up for yourself, they put you on the list. Dirty was that kind of man. He wanted real freedom. He expressed real freedom. So I don't doubt that somebody was on his case. I don't doubt that somebody was ever trying to hurt him. I don't doubt that people was watching him.
He used to say the police, the FBI is after him. They were trying to kill him. I believe it now.
It's like, it's not that he's crazy, but I'm saying the things that he says, it's like, damn, how you seeing what you're saying?
I'm not crazy at all, okay? Everybody always saying that Dirty is crazy. Dirty is not crazy at all. Dirty just foresee a lot that a lot of people don't foresee.
And by the way, white men are not that damn smart. Neither are these Jewish men. They're getting all this from the demigods, Satan, fallen angels. The Lord gave Satan who? Earth. The land been given to the hand of the wicked. Who is the wicked? Satan. Satan have many employers out there. Cloning is one. Reptiles is another. They live in you. And most of these creatures that live in human bodies are reptiles. But once they become of human, they can stay in that human body for a very long time. But if that human body were to get crashed or killed, which they wouldn't because they got powers, don't get it twisted. Okay? But if they did, they have about 5 more lined up. The first cloning may take, I think when they first clone a human being, it takes 3 to 6 months. Maybe sometimes a year depending on the technology, but usually with the technology they got, between 6 to 7 months to clone a human being. They need their tissues, their brain cells and all that. They'll clone a human. Okay? After that first human is cloned, they can clone you every hour thereafter. So if they want to make 20 of you, they could. If they want to make 10 of you, they could. When you saw Saddam Hussein, that was not the real Saddam Hussein. He did not die like that. Saddam, they got rid of Saddam in the early 90s, but they were using his clones to have fun with you, to be amused. That was not the real Saddam, but he acted just like him. Michael Jackson is not dead. Michael Jackson doesn't look anything the way he did. The slim Michael Jackson, because they know that's what y'all like. The Michael Jackson that y'all saw dancing with James Brown, that was a clone. They had to keep fixing on it because the clone was breaking down. He wasn't going into surgeries. See, clones also can't gain weight. So basically what they did, they had to keep doctoring on the clone of Michael who was alive. The one that was dancing with Michael, the dance with James Brown, okay, that Michael Jackson, that wasn't the real Michael. When they cloned Michael, that clones don't grow hair. So in other words, however they clone you, whatever you have, that's how you're going to come out. That's just how the clone produce. So in other words, if you're a person that have long hair, however they clone you, that's how the clone going to look. When they clone Michael Jackson, his hair was never attached, because the first Michael Jackson that was cloned, his head was third to fourth degree burn in Pepsi commercial. He lost half his head. I mean, it wasn't gone, but it was it was very badly burned. Michael Jackson looked like a monster. Okay, and he was still slim. So they cloned him while he was under the knife. And when they cloned him, they needed 2 years to remake him because he didn't look nothing like Michael Jackson. I don't know if y'all can peep game. So when they cloned him, they had to make him lighter and make up this skin disease because his skin didn't look the same. His body, they changed everything about him. In the end, when Michael was looking really, really bad, the clone body was breaking down because clones don't think like humans. Clones have to have people around them to tell them what they do because they get adolescence. They can't think properly. It's called handlers. Right? So when Michael started to break down, his body was breaking down. His nose was artificial. I don't know if y'all noticed. Go back and Google Michael Jackson nose. It looks like a robot because it wasn't him. His whole head was a wig. It was a cap because when they first cloned Michael, he didn't have any hair. It all burnt off in the Pepsi commercial. They put Michael in a capsule and cloned it. Brought him back 2 years as the clone, and Michael Jackson was watching all of this like, I can't believe they're doing this. So what happened to Michael? He just lived his life. Michael Jackson is still alive. He's already appeared on TV, but y'all didn't even know who he was. Go back and watch the CNN of Larry King, the guy with the glasses with the real bad burnt victim that played like Michael Jackson Satan when he was a kid. That's Michael Jackson. It burned him so bad it disfigured him. It tore up his skin. It did everything to him. You understand what I'm telling you? And also, after Michael was cloned, the real Michael Jackson, they bleached his skin so he would look nothing like Michael. If you look at the dude who was on Larry King telling you about his childhood, how Michael Jackson helped him, he looks just like Michael. Just look at his eyes. That's Michael Jackson. He's disfigured. That's how he looked when he got done with the Pepsi commercial.
Joining us now here in Los Angeles, Miko Brando, who was with us almost every night after this untimely passing, longtime Michael Jackson friend attending the funeral, and Dave, yes, that's his name, Dave. He was David Rothenberg. He was set on fire in 1983, suffered, as you can see, terrible scars. Michael Jackson befriended him and paid for a lot of his surgeries. Dave is also attending the burial. Why Dave?
Well, to liberate myself from the confines of my father's criminality.
He caused the fire?
Yeah. He is a criminal, and he caused all this. To free myself of his name and his legacy, I decided to become my own person through changing my name.
How did he find out about you, Dave?
He heard about me, and he had contacted me and wanted to meet me.
How old were you at the time?
I was about 7 years old at the time.
And were you in the hospital?
I was not in the hospital at the time. I was in interim back and forth from surgery.
And what did he do for you?
Well, basically, he befriended me. He took me into his life, which is very rare for Michael to do. But he opened up his arms to me and accepted me as a very good friend of his. And throughout the years, he never let me go.
Were you surprised, Dave, to hear from him when you were 7?
Oh, it's a very interesting story, Larry. It was kind of, the visit to his Encino house was very impromptu, and it was kept a secret by my mother. And I had always been kind of a admirer of his, not a fan per se, but I always loved his music. And my mother surprised me one day and brought me up to Neverland. And I entered an arcade, and there were all these Paul McCartney records all over this, The Girl Is Mine, and, you know, this and that. And I remember sitting down, and at the time, my favorite video games, my favorite video game was Pole Position. And I was playing Pole Position, and I felt a little tap on my shoulder, and I turned around, and there was Michael. And you know what, Larry?
What?
At that moment, we embraced, and that embrace never ended throughout our whole entire friendship.
Dave, what don't we know about him we should know?
Well, I believe what people fail to realize is that Michael was a human being. Throughout the years, I think he was kind of stigmatized by the media, and I believe that wasn't really helpful to him or to anybody around him. I believe that Michael was a great person. He has never hurt a soul, and I am happy to have been his friend for all these years and been a dedicated friend.
Girl, so serious though. I feel like a sore thumb out here. All right, baby. All right, I'll talk to you soon. See you. Okay, so this is Ryan Ave. Just keep on walking, bro. Don't do nothing stupid. Just keep on. Fuck this. I'm about to go the other way. I can't. Not today. Not me. You know how they like to do motherfuckers out here, man. I'm gone. Yo.
Run, rabbit, run. Don't give the farmer his fun. He'll get by without his rabbit pie. So run, rabbit, run.
Hey. Yo, my man. They were asking me about the African American experience. Maybe you could take this one.
Oh. Well, I find that the African American experience for me has been, for the most part, very good. To the left on, what was that? Peacock. Left. Although, I find it difficult to go into detail as I haven't had much of a desire to leave the house in a while.
We've become such homebodies.
Yes, but even when you go into the city, I've just had no interest. The chores have become my sanctuary. Get out.
Sorry, man.
Okay.
Get out!
Yo!
Yo, chill, man. Get out! Chill, man! Chill! Get the fuck out of here!
Seizures create anxiety, which can trigger aggression.
For instance, down there in the Haunted Mansion, you see the hologram, right? Oh, you know how to make a hologram. Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those?
Well, actually, we just interviewed John Lear, and he was talking about being in an audience in which they were given a lecture by a guy that they thought was real and found out later he was a hologram.
Well, it's a synthetic. A synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic almost. That's the latest technique. The old techniques, if you guys can rent a video, the boys from Brazil, rent it, because in it, it gives you the exact way how our government's been making people.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
and the Soviets have a different method called...
I mean, making people meaning temporary people?
No, walking, talking ones.
Meaning through genetics? You're not talking about that?
Well, let me tell you, the movie shows it, but I'll share it with you right now.
All right.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body, yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. I'm just they'll act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver in order to make it. So they were hypnotizing women, said they were being invaded by aliens. And the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food. Well, they can use cows and sheep, too. Again, a food source. That's all we need. After about 14 weeks, all of a sudden, that fetus is gone. Because they've learned to take, that's when the fetus starts developing its own blood supply. Then they've used a pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. And the original technology was given to our government by the Greys. Now, the reason was that our scientists were all excited because we could have spare parts. If you need a heart or a liver or anything, you won't have any rejection. It's your own DNA, right?
Okay, because theoretically, if we have overpopulation, we don't need more people, right?
But the so-called elite are selecting on who they want to have around anyway, so if we want to keep people going as long as we can. I talked to the doctor that was working on regeneration of Castro, for instance.
Right.
On the DNA sequencing. And they're just learning about this.
Well, my understanding is that a lot of presidents have already been replaced.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't think...
They're walking around, they look old, but they basically, some of the people are just
I'll
second,
just give you
third
something
copies.
I'll give you something to ponder. Get some old videos of George Bush, when he first came into office. Look at the person and listen to him speak. Look at his actions and listen to everything that's there. Now, it's a lot easier to put somebody out in front to act as even Bush did. He had somebody else that was up there acting like he is and look like it. Even Hitler had he had his stand. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany. I mean, Hitler and Eva and the dog and 14 other people got aboard a plane and flew down to Barcelona, Spain. You were aware of that. And then ended up in Antarctica or in Swabenland and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
That's what we heard. That's
Oh,
what we heard.
I have all the documents from our own government.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a contact, one of our
Stalin
contacts.
even, Stalin asked for the, they tried to burn the body and he got the body back and he said, wait a minute, different ears and the testicles were different and everything else. So they knew it wasn't Hitler.
But is it a clone or not?
Oh, now you know going about cloning. Cloning techniques, since 1938, they've been making clone people. There's 8 countries making clones. I have a doctor friend that all it does is treat the clones.
Where do you get your information?
I get it from some of the people that are willing to come forth, and they talk to me because they hope I'll put the information out because they always got 2 people following them and they may be killed. If I start talking about cloning too much, the people that get involved into that you disappear on it. So I don't go into too many more details, but there is information that's available, and more and more of that's coming on the line. I just told you, go rent the movie.
Okay, Boys from Brazil.
Yeah, and you'll see the whole technique on what they show it to you in different places, so you can imagine what it's going on.
Okay, so...
Now let's go to the next step, because this is the most important part.
All right.
If your physical reality that you have, based on this physical life that you have, this dream, is made up of the experiences that is impregnated on your body and in your mind, consciously, right? Mm-hmm. Your soul memory is another thing. It goes back whatever time that you elected to be in this incarnation for whatever reason. Now let's show you the division on these things. Since the body's very physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts, they said, now we've got the perfect deal. How can we have that work better? Well, if you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have, because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized.
Right,
Soulless
that's
beings.
true. That's true.
Now we have another agenda that's going on, so you have to be careful of all this. There are many extraterrestrials that would like to be in on the game right now, so they can sometimes will come into these physical beings that we've made to manipulate them.
I see.
So now you have a combination effort that you have to look at, and discernment. You have to discern what the game is. Well, disfigure that most of the leaders we have in the world have been bought and paid for or created to think a certain way.
On Friday, I started there early for voting, the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. 10 states, as I said. On Friday, I started there early for voting, the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.